welcome to Gold Coast International Airport here in southern Queensland. Unfortunately, I won't be flying on Virgin. Today, I will be flying on Qantas on a Boeing 737-800 on the busiest route that this airport serves, to Sydney.
Here we go now. Batman scoop on the mic. Mix in the mix on the wheels of steel. This is what I was fucking born to do. Let's go.
As is tradition for me, whenever I fly into the Gold Coast, I spend my day exploring Cavill Avenue and indulging in the fantastic bagels at O'Bagel on Broadbeach. Usually when flying in or out of the Gold Coast, Virgin Australia and Jetstar are my usual choices, as these airlines usually offer flights up to 12 hours before departure for only $100 each way. However, in a very rare instance, both Virgin and Jetstar were both over $100 more expensive than this $130 flight. Situated just shy of 20 kilometers south of Cavill Avenue, Gold Coast Airport is one of the busiest airports in Australia, being the largest non-capital city airport, transporting 6 million passengers in 2024. By far the most popular route from this airport is to Sydney, then followed by Melbourne. However, in my opinion, the most unique route definitely has to be the daily Denpasar-Bali flight. Unfortunately, I won't be flying to Bali today, and as stated during my introduction, I will be flying with Qantas bound for Sydney. Gold Coast Airport has only one terminal. However, there are a few gates, much like Canberra and Adelaide, that can be converted into an international gate with simple glass partitions. As such, check-in for all airlines can be found at the northern end of the terminal. The Qantas check-in area is found in the very centre of the building, adjacent to Jetstar and Air New Zealand. All of the airlines use autonomous check-in kiosks for their operations. However, personally, I'm not a huge fan of these kiosks, as the boarding passes printed are fairly cheap. They get the job done, don't get me wrong, but I like having a good quality boarding pass as a memento later on. Once I was successfully checked in and I had dropped my bag off, I quickly made my way to security. The security checkpoint is located in the centre of the building between the arrival hall and the check-in counters. To meet increasing passenger volumes and mandated government regulations, 12 HiScan 6040 CTIX screening machines have been installed, with only 10 currently in operation.
From the top, let's go.
Post-security is a wide variety of different restaurants and retail outlets, which I ended up indulging in and exploring, as I was in for a fairly long wait time until boarding, approximately 90 minutes. Boarding for this afternoon's flight commenced slightly behind schedule at Gate 7, starting of course with business class customers and then followed by row. Waiting on stand is the aircraft about to fly us south to Sydney, which today is a Boeing 737-800, registered as Victor Hotel X-Ray Zulu Lima. Construction of this airframe was completed at Boeing's final assembly line in Seattle, Washington, in March of 2014, being delivered brand new to Qantas 4 months later, making this aircraft just shy of 11 years old. Fun fact about this airframe, X-Ray Zulu Lima was the 74th 737 delivered to Qantas, making it the second newest 737 in the fleet. Qantas's 737-800s all have the exact same configuration, with 12 recliner business class seats in a 2-2 layout and 162 standard economy class seats in a 3-3 layout. This afternoon I shall be seated in 18 Foxtrot on the starboard side of the aircraft. The economy class seat has 30 inches of pitch and 17.2 inches of width. There is a fairly standard tray table which folds down and extends towards you. In the seat back pocket you'll find a safety card, magazine and an air sickness bag. Above are individual reading lights, air vents and a flight attendant call button. Next to the entertainment screen you'll find a USB-A port. Soon we commenced our pushback from stand 11, 17 minutes behind our scheduled departure time.
And you're in a Qantas Boeing 737.
Remove your life jacket from the pouch by pulling the tab. Put it over your head, pass the strap around your waist, clip at the front, then tighten. There's a red tag, a mouthpiece for inflation, and a whistle.
Fix your own mask first and then help others.
Unlike in events with an emergency, you should be familiar with the brace position appropriate to your seat.
To remember your nearest exit, count the rows between you and that exit.
Lights will guide you to your exits. Your crew members are pointing them out now. Please help us create a safe, respectful, and positive environment for everyone.
We taxied to runway 14 via Echo, Alpha and Charlie. Now please enjoy this unedited takeoff.
1, 2.
Once airborne, we continued straight out over Coolangatta and Tweed Heads before turning right and setting a southerly course for Sydney. Flight time today is 1 hour and 2 minutes, covering a distance of 490 miles or 788 kilometers, cruising at 36,000 feet. After our initial right-hand turn, in the distance was the same airport that we just departed from, as well as the nearby town of Coolangatta. Qantas offers complimentary Wi-Fi to all passengers on board some of their domestic flights. Generally speaking, it depends on the aircraft. I find that the Wi-Fi works well enough, however it can be a little bit patchy, and sometimes I end up having to disconnect and then reconnect in order to get it to work again. On the back of every economy class seat is a small touchscreen entertainment system, featuring a wide variety of on-demand TV shows, music, movies, and games. Without the Qantas Entertainment app, however, on your phone, it is impossible to watch anything more than the standard 10 movies that Qantas provides. However, considering today's flight time, it wasn't really an issue. Shortly after passing over the small town of Bonalbo in New South Wales, the cabin crew sprung into action, commencing the in-flight service. In my findings, the service on Qantas is like a game of roulette, meaning you never really know what you're gonna get. I assumed today I was going to be handed a pack of cheese and crackers, but I instead was given a slight variation on that, being cheese crackers with caramelized onion jam and almonds. Just prior to descent, we passed directly over the horse capital of Australia, that being the regional town of Scone. Soon we commenced our descent into Sydney. Generally speaking, when flying into Sydney, I recommend sitting on the left-hand side of the aircraft, as this would usually result in a view of either Botany Bay or the iconic landmarks of Sydney, such as Sydney Tower, Harbour Bridge and the Opera House. However, today, and with approximately 4 hours until departure, I decided to switch to the starboard side, for no particular reason. However, unbeknownst to me is that this would have the effect of my GoPro being heated up well above its safe operating limits. This in turn meant that my GoPro eventually ended up overheating, which unfortunately resulted in the camera switching off midway through landing.
Qantas 597 with 020 degrees, 25 knots, crossing 18, runway 34 right, clear to land. Clear to land, runway 34 right, Qantas 597.
I tried to save as much time as I could switching batteries to a much cooler one, but I still was unable to capture the full unedited landing. And so, for the first time ever, now please enjoy this edited landing. After landing, we taxied back to Terminal 3 via Uniform 1, Lima, Bravo, and Bravo 2. We pulled in onto Gate 3, 8 minutes behind our scheduled arrival time. Stepping off the aircraft, I turned my attention away from Qantas and towards reclaiming my bag and going home. So, I have just flown on Qantas's domestic 737 service after nearly 5 months. What are my thoughts? Well, as always, let's start from the beginning. The check-in experience at Gold Coast Airport was fairly standard. However, I do like how autonomous everything is, and the check-in kiosks, whilst they aren't my favourite, are fantastic in compared to the ones used at Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane. On board, the aircraft was clean and tidy. However, unsurprisingly, the entertainment system was basically useless. The only thing it was good for was the moving map, but then again, for a 1-hour flight, it wasn't necessary to have. The service on board was fairly typical of Qantas. However, as stated earlier, the service on board is a game of roulette, meaning you never really know what you're gonna get until you are on board. So, would I rate this flight, and would I recommend you to take it? Well, typically for Qantas, if the price is low enough, of course, but considering the price of most domestic flights are increasing, I would recommend you to wait until the sales are on. Until then, stick to Jetstar or Virgin, whichever tickles your fancy. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you check out the other videos that I have posted on my YouTube channel if you want to see more. And I have said this before, but I now have a Discord server. Feel free to join. The link can be found at the top of the description. And as always, feel free to press the notification button too, as it will let you know when I upload again, which happens every Friday at 8 PM Sydney time. And I hope to see you again in the next one. See you later!